Well, hello, welcome to TF Custom Shaving Brushes channel. This is just a test stream. It's our first video put up on this new YouTube channel that we've set up. It's our first video, and look, we've just got a heap of some old and a couple of new bits of streaming gear that I've put together to try and do some live videos from the workshop, where you'll get to see the making of shaving brushes, which might even be one that you're buying, and also just see the day-to-day things that happen in the workshop and how much time and effort goes into making each and every TF custom brush. And obviously there's other stuff that we can do in the workshop as well, like custom casting, wood turnings, all different types of materials that we can play around with, and hopefully I can put some videos together that may be of interest to some people out there, or even to other people that want to know how to make shaving brushes, or how to do casting, or how to turn wooden bowls, or whatever, because it'll be wide and varied in video content, and hopefully we can have a little bit of fun along the way, and hope we can have a bit of a chat online once the channel gets known out there, and hopefully I can get the streaming side of it all sorted out with cameras and different view perspectives, just to give you a good overall compiled video really. Look, at this one's just a trial. I'm just checking out the gear, just checking out that the streaming equipment is all working, so it's really just a test video, so nothing in particular. I don't think anybody will be dropping in, because like I said, I've only just created the YouTube channel, so I don't think anybody will be dropping in to say good day at this stage, but hopefully sometime down the track we might get a few followers, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's the main thing. At least I'm giving it a crack, and we'll see what we can do. I do have some brushes, some of the recent brushes that I've made over the last couple of weeks, sort of thing, or the last few weeks, that I can show online, just so I can see how it comes up in the camera, and obviously shows some of the stuff that I can do. Some of it's old stuff, some of it's new stuff, mainly the stuff that I've done in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Nothing too interesting. A lot of the good ones have actually sold on, so yeah, well anyway, let's continue on and we'll see how this stream turns out. The equipment seems to be operating okay and functioning okay at the moment. I've got, if I can just flick cameras here, I've got, this is the setup I've got in front of me at the moment. You can see I've got photography lighting set up so that there's a lot of light in this area here. Obviously it'll be set up differently in the workshop once we get out into the workshop, but as you can see, I've got a laptop down here which can connect in through this little mixer, video audio mixer here, which is a new piece of kit, which allows me to feed the cameras in and flick from camera to camera, and also adjust audio outputs. You can see I've got the laptop here. That's not hooked up at the moment, but it can be hooked up, and I can actually put on the screen different graphics and images and different things to look at in the stream if need be. The iPad here and the keyboard for the iPad are not doing anything at this particular point. It's really just the laptop, which like I said isn't hooked into the system at the moment. I've got the big monitor here, which you can see in the back, which is showing all the different camera views that I can flick to. You can see the studio lighting, and I've got my computer screen over the back here, which is running independently to this setup, which is basically just so that I can see what's going on YouTube with the stream. And there's also a live chat there, so if people were to come in, I've got the live chat there as well. So yeah, so it's so it's really, I mean, I've got the gear there. Now I've got to try and work out how I can get all this gear set up in and around the lathes where I do my turning for the shaving brushes, etc. That's going to be fun because there's cables everywhere, and I don't have a lot of room in the workshop around my lathe anyway. Actually, I don't have a lot of room in my workshop, full stop. So yeah, so it'll be an interesting. I might have to hang the cameras from the roof or something like that, which is probably going to be the best viewpoints anyway, around the lathe when I'm working on the lathe. So we'll see how we go with that as well. But it'll be a little while in getting it all set up, but hopefully I can get it done, and hopefully I can start bringing some live content to our YouTube channel. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm just going to flick through a few camera shots, etc., and just see how all this gear functions and works. And like I said, it's really a test just to make sure that everything's going to stand up to what I want it to do. And all the fancy stuff and adding graphics and images in can come at a later stage. I'm not really too fussed about all that at the moment. I just really want to get the cameras and the streaming equipment and obviously our internet, and just make sure that everything can cope, which it seems to be so far, which is all good. And obviously the way I'm actually broadcasting in here at the moment, I'm broadcasting in HD, so 1080p, which is the highest that I can sort of stream up with the equipment and the internet that we've got. If I just flick this laptop screen down for a little minute, you'll see on this big screen here, this camera here is probably the best camera, but it's still a little bit far away. But it's got a few different breakdowns in the screen. So over here we've got a full audio mixer and the control software that I run on the laptop. If I just get rid of that logo there, and if I bring up that's the switcher software. So basically what we see on there, I don't want to upgrade my software, thank you. What we see on the laptop screen there is actually the ATM software control software for the little audio video mixer. So you can actually control it from here, or it can be controlled from here, and because it's fed through Ethernet cable, I could have someone sitting in another room actually controlling the stream in the workshop. But the plan is to try and get it so that it's all set up so that I can do it all on my own, really. So if I go to that screen, let me just change back to the main screen here, which is camera 1. So in that main screen there, you can see down the bottom, that's the audio mixer side of the ATM switcher, which again, like I said, I can control from the laptop. This one here saying stop, that's where I can actually hook up flash drives, USB drives, all that sort of thing. And as the live stream is being broadcast directly to YouTube or to Facebook or wherever, it can actually record onto a hard drive the same footage. And if the video was, say, large in file size, and I had other videos on, say, one of the hard drives, it'll actually flick over to the next drive, and it doesn't drop any frames, so you actually don't lose any of the video when it switches from one drive to the other, which is a good inbuilt thing within the little micro Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Pro. The next one over here, so that one really just shows you the status of the drives, and as it you know, the megabytes obviously go up, and if the drive gets full, it will show you that it switches over, and it just does it all automatically. This one here just shows us that, as you can see, we're on air. So far it's been running on the computer and through the switcher for 21 minutes, but in YouTube it's only about 9 minutes, because I didn't flick YouTube Live on until I was sort of ready to go. So yeah, and then the blank square over the bottom here, that's where, if you've got media files to put up from the laptop, I can feed them from the laptop straight through to that feed, and that would play them up on the screen as another input, just like one of the 4 cameras that I've got set up at the moment. And then the next row up here, through here, is basically camera 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll see this one's got audio on it, because I'm actually pulling my audio from, let me just see if I can show you. I can't show you that one actually. You can just see it above the top of the laptop. I've got a Sony Handycam up there, and that's that's providing the close-up shot of me here. So it does quite a good job, gets quite a clear picture. But we'll go back to this one. So yeah, so that's the 4 different camera views. The red one that's bounded in red, that's actually your live one, so that's what we're seeing up here in this top picture, which is what we call the program view. And then over here we've got the preview screen, so that's the one that's highlighted in green. So if I press one of the buttons on the switcher here, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, if I press say button 4, that brings that shot into preview, so I can check it before I switch to it. And then if I just hit this auto button, it'll actually change the program view, which is what you're seeing, to that view there. So again, it just lets you see how we've got all the different views. Then I can go to camera 2 side, which is that one there, and if I press the auto cue, it'll actually feed that straight back into the live stream. So it just shows you how it can pick up. With the lathe, I'll probably only run probably 2, maybe 3 cameras if we're lucky. I don't think I'll need to run the 4th one, but we'll see. I might have a general 4th one set up so that if I go somewhere else in the workshop to do something, I can flick to that one rather than leave an empty screen at the lathe. So we'll see how that one goes anyway, and we can try it. So yeah, so I'm just, like I said, I'm just really flicking through the different screens. We're on camera 2, camera 1 is that one. Then if I go camera 3, which is that one, and then we can go camera 4, which is that one down on the desk. So like I said, I could have one directly above the piece that I'm working on in the lathe side. So if I go back to this view here, and we go back to 1. So yeah, so if I have a piece in the lathe, I can probably have one of the cameras set up so that it's a head down shot onto the lathe, so you get to see the profile of the piece that I'm turning, and also the contact with the turning tool, whether it be a carbide cutter or a proper wood turning chisel, skew or a gouge or whatever. You'll be able to see the contact to the wood or to the resin, and it'll just show you how I do things. What you take from that is up to you, really. I'm no expert, but I get the job done, and I've been doing it for a little while, and it's worked for me. So yeah, so I don't think there's anything else I need to show you or test, but what I may do is I may flick to camera 2, and I might just bring up some of these shaving brushes that I've got on my desk here just to let you see some of them. Some of the knots are not set in these either, not yet, but ready to be set, and they're drilled to the depth and the size that I want for the particular knots that are in them. So this one here, you can see, that's a New Guinea rosewood burrow. That one was only turned 2 or 3 weeks back, and as you can see, it hasn't had any particular special finish put on it. It was treated with a CA, a super glue, which was let soak into the timber to make sure that it stabilises it and makes it waterproof, I guess. I could probably leave it like that. You'll see, you may not see in the inside, but you can see in the inside it's all been sealed off as well. I like to make sure that everything with timber handles is impervious to water intake. So yeah, but basically that's that brush there, and that's a 30mm tuxedo in that one there, and like I said, you can see the timber's got some beautiful grain in it there, a nice colour, nice reddy colour around there for rosewood. Anyway, that's that one. And then we've got this one here, which is an acrylic one that I cast and put in the pressure pot. This one's got a 26mm high mountain white in it, just in a bulb, and again you can see the socket for the knot is all drilled out to the depth and the size that I require for that particular knot to give it the appropriate loft and backbone. And this one here was a casting that I done in the workshop using other offcuts from other brushes, and what I do is I cut it all up in the bandsaw, and then I drop them into a mould, and then I put resin in there, black, which was black in this case, and then let it cure and then turn it into a handle, and that was the outcome. So you'll see it's got different coloured pieces, different shaped pieces through it, and they just pop up random as you're turning it. And there's the base. It's got a couple of different coloured pieces in there. It's quite unusual actually, and it's not too over the top. It looks quite pleasant. And then this one here is one of the colour changing ones, which I've done. And again, this has got it looks like about a 26 or 28 two-band finest in it, which again isn't set yet. It can be set. It's been drilled to the to what I want for that particular knot. But you can see the colour changing in this particular brush here. Different ways you move it, it gets different colours in it. So yeah, it's different and quite interesting. It gets blues and reds and an orange and a sort of purpley look in it. And again, it just really depends on how you hold it in the light. It's quite effective. Yeah, there you go. So that's that one. And then another one that I done was another casting. This is another resin casting, this one. And again, it's all pre-drilled to the size I want for the knot that I'm fitting in it, which is actually this one is a 27mm rhodium. This knot, it's a beautiful knot. He makes some lovely some lovely knots actually, and they're all hand tied, so they're good quality. The bristles and the density of the knot is just incredible, and the feel is just absolutely fantastic. One of the best around, I believe, in hand tied knots. That's the feedback from some guys that have been using them, that well versed in shaving and brushes and knots. So there you can see it. The casting's quite interesting. It's quite dark, but there's actually quite a lot of colour in it too, but it doesn't really pop out and grab you like some of my brighter castings that I do. But all the same, it's still a nice handle, and yeah, a little bit more subdued than some of the bright coloured ones though. And then this one here is absolutely a stunning brush. This is one that I made some time ago, and it's made from Australian hairy oak, which you'll see in there as I turn that brush around. You'll see the grain in it. It's just absolutely stunning. And if you look at the finish in that, it's smooth as, it's really nice for a timber brush. And there's the bottom, you can see it's all nicely finished. There you go. And the knot is actually set in this one, and it's set with a synthetic, and the colour of the synthetic is matched to go with the brush, and to go with the handle, sorry. And the feel on this one is just absolutely stunning. I reckon, I was saying the other night when I was mucking around with this gear, it actually feels much smoother and softer than what the tuxedo knots do, but it's still got a fair bit of backbone as well. So I mean, it'll be a lather monster really, but it's just a lovely handle, something a different shape for me too. But just, yeah, just absolutely stunning. And I always put a slight concave I think it is, hollow in the bottom, so that the brushes have no problems standing up on a flat surface as well. So I do that with all my brushes. But yeah, it's just absolutely stunning, this one. Yeah, I'm tempted to use it for myself, and as you can see I need a shave too. And I put that one in one of these little cases that I used to make. I no longer do these. Cost wise it was just getting too expensive to play around. By the time I laser cut and laser engrave and then fabricate the box, it is a nice touch. I'll maybe come up with some other method in doing a little presentation box, or I might even reinvigorate this one and start doing these again. But it just adds to everything. It's just more labour, more time, more material costs, and then obviously when it comes to shipping as well, it makes the brush, because the cases are actually quite heavy being acrylic, so it makes the weight heavier as well for sending overseas. And I do send a lot of brushes overseas, so it keeps the cost down by not having that box. But at the same token, it is quite nice, and it's a momentum, something that's been made by Custom TF, I guess, TF Customs. So yeah, so there's another one. And then I've got another one sitting here, which is another colour changing one, but this one, the colours in this one are a little bit less standoutish to the previous one, although you will see colours in it, and you will see a swirly pattern in it too. This one's got sort of orange and a reddy cyan colour in it, as well as a gold. I think it was a 3 colour one, this one. So gold, orange, and like I say, the cyan, you can see the cyan coming through in there. Certain ways you hold the brush, it shows more colour one way than it does otherwise. But again, it was just something different that I wanted to try, and I do have other ones which are currently stuck in America, and have been for over a month now, just with the current things that are going on in the world at the moment. I ordered some really nice pigments to cast some new handles with again some colour changing pigments and some solid colour pigments, but just stuff that's a little bit different to the norm. And I was hoping to have got them so I could have done some experimenting and some more casting with them, but unfortunately they've been stuck in America. They haven't even made its way out of America yet, and that was over a month ago. So I'm hoping that at some stage it'll arrive, because there was quite a bit of money's worth in buying the powders. So I'm hoping that it still gets here. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. So yeah. So look, I might not go on too much longer, because it's really just a test. I mean, according to the on-air on the software controller, we've been running for 35 minutes, and on actual YouTube live preview screen, we've been running for just on 23 minutes now. So I might just flick around with a couple of camera cuts, and oh, there is one other thing I can do on this as well, where I can put a picture in a picture. So if you look up the top right hand of the screen here, you'll see I've got another picture up there, and I think that's that one, yeah. So let's put the picture up there, and I can do that with, it'll only put the one screen up there, so you've got to be mindful of what screen it is you want up there, but it'll do it over all the cameras basically. So if I cut to another camera, there's another camera and it's got that same picture up there. If I go to another shot and cut to that one, you can see it's still up there. Not as noticeable in that one because there's so much stuff happening on the screen, but nonetheless it's there. If I go to 3 and cut back to there, you can see it up in the corner up there. Everything's reversed with the camera, so you've got to be mindful where you're pointing. Just up here, that's the one. So yeah, so it's a good little switcher. I'm hoping that it's going to, like I said, be a bit of an investment in the workshop to do the live streams, hopefully. And I think it'll be well worth it, because it just gives a different perspective on on watching these things, and you can get different views, which keeps it interesting. Or if there's some detail in it that you need to show, then you can go to that detail with having the different cameras set up in different positions. So yeah, so hopefully all good. There is other things, so I can move that little picture-in-picture up there. I can move it over to there. I can move it down there, and I can move it over there. How does that? Look, I'm getting the hang of this thing already. But yeah, so that's one other thing it can do. We'll take that off for now. You can change the durations of the delays and switching as well. So like if I press, I can put the mix from one screen to the other screen. I can put that on a longer delay, so you'll see it'll double image and take longer to go from one to the other. So if I go back to screen 2 now and I hit auto, you'll see that it takes a longer transition to fade one out and fade the other one in. You can also go to dip, which I think is just it fades to white and then goes from white back into the opposite picture. So if I go there and go, it just different things, and you can change that duration. So that's on the 2 minute duration. The 1 minute seems to be quite a good one. The 1 second, I should say. And then you've also got other ones that you can use. You can squeeze the screen away. You can float the screen over. You can transition it from top to bottom or bottom to top, I think it is, like that. Or you can go that way. And then there's another one there, which takes it that way. And then you can have the one that I normally have it on, is just the mix, where it mixes one to the other without any screen disappearing or fading to white or black or whatever. You've also got different buttons on here for the camera, so you can have more of a direct cut to a camera, so we can go straight to there, to there, to there, to there. So it just gives you a more direct without all the other stuff, and then I can go back to my multi-view there. So again, that all transitions back through straight into the stream, which is good. The stream is still streaming here at about over 9 megabits a second. So the stream's standing up and holding up really well. To go on full HD, how I'm streaming now, it needs to have that 9 megabytes per second. You can actually stream higher quality than that as well. It's still 1080p, but you can go higher quality. So I think on the software over here, you can set 3 different hyperdeck levels, I think it's called, which are even higher again than the HD. But the megabytes per second gets quite demanding then, so you're putting a lot of stress on your internet connection. So I think this one's fantastic as far as quality in HD going through to YouTube. It should be nice and clear, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this test stream, is just to make sure that it's all working good, and that the quality of the video is good, and that the sound's okay. I'm actually using, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but I'm actually using the sound from the camera, which if I go to camera 1, this one here, so the Sony Handycam that's just up behind that top of that screen, you can see there. I'm actually pulling the sound from that directly into the mixer via the HDMI, and basically what that means is it should mean that there's no audio delay to the video, because the video is travelling through the HDMI, the sound's travelling through the HDMI, but because it's pulling it from the camera, there is mics in on the little deck here as well, but you do get a bit of a delay between video and audio, being out of sync a little bit when it feeds through this. So by doing it the way I've done it through the camera, I don't have that audio delay with the video. Well, hopefully anyway. There is other ways around it though, and if I did have a camera that had a microphone in it, then I could use my my Rode Link, which is the wireless lavalier, and I could use that, which would give me better sound quality again. But I think the sound through this shouldn't be too bad. So we'll see how we go anyway. And like I said, I'll be reviewing the YouTube footage before I start going and set it up in the workshop, just to make sure that the quality is there for the streams, because the last thing you want is putting videos up and the quality of the video being rubbish, or the audio out of sync and all that sort of thing, or the quality of the video, the actual video itself not being up to scratch. So hopefully we'll get all that right. Might take us a few goes, and I'll keep putting streams up here just until then. But in the meantime, take it easy, have fun, and we'll be back soon with some other videos. Cheers for now.